Welcome to one and all to the South Africa versus Ireland test match. Indoor hockey, our fifth test between these two fantastic sides as we all build towards the 2023 Indoor World Cup in Pretoria in South Africa. Series are so finely poised at the moment. We move into our fifth match tonight, and in front of you have the Ireland starting lineup. Buckley, Mackin, the captain, Brown, Fox, Lloyd and Benson, with the balance of the squad on the bench. And it's an experienced Irish lineup with numerous caps between them. And look, the summary of the Irish team is mid-level experience with about 15 to 20 caps for all. Now the South African starting lineup. You can see Jamie Southgate at number 2, who will probably play middleman on the South African side. Celia Serrano and Jess O'Connor at the back, the 115th cap for the captain, South Africa's captain O'Connor. The goalkeepers Gravenstein and Tegan Fourie and Laken Brissett, who will fill up front. It's a hugely experienced South African side under coach Lenny Botha, preparing for his 5th World Cup. 337 caps in that starting lineup. And some real notables on the bench as well. Outdoor South African Springbok, Edith Madikwe, who's 49th cap today, as well as also Robin Johnson and recent debutante Chardonnay Peniston. So as I was saying, it's so finely poised. 5th test match, 3 draws. First test was drawn 1-1. Second test 1-1. Third test 3-3. And South Africa eventually prevailing in the last test yesterday 5-2. So they've got ahead in a series. And I think what we are expecting to see is coach Lenny Botha fighting hard to get his team to start exerting some dominance in this series. And taking things to the next level. With 1 win already and 1-0 up in the series, they'll be keen to maintain that and get a second victory. And here they come, led out by the Irish ladies. In the world of hockey, 3 versions of the game now: fives hockey, full outdoor hockey and indoor hockey. And indoor hockey is the rock star version of the game. It's cricket's T20. Indoor hockey is cricket's T20. Here come the Irish team. Fireworks, DJs, music, flashing lights, all makes for an exciting lead up to what is a very exciting version of the game. Jess O'Connor leads out the South African side, eager to build on their victory from yesterday and extend their lead in the series. What a complete unit this is starting to look like. The advantage of home ground just cannot be overrated in a series like this as they build towards the World Cup. fantastically rousing version of the Irish anthem, belted out by the Irish team, and now the home team. Look at that emotion from the South African side. Just absolutely no greater pleasure than for a South African hockey player than playing in front of their home crowd. And what a crowd it is tonight, packed to the rafters to look at this fifth stage of this exciting series. And you can see both teams up for it. South Africa so keen to further their dominance in the series, and Ireland feeling if they can settle tonight, they play for the series tomorrow.
Good evening, Whitey. How are you doing?
Good evening, Mackie. Very well, thank you.
We're all set here. I mean, the series is quite interestingly poised with South Africa one test match to the good with 2 matches to go. So speaking with Coach Ross Willis at the team hotel before the game, for them, they're treating it like a semi-final.
I think that's accurate. I mean, for the Irish to settle tonight, settle the series, and then come back and win it tomorrow is just the perfect narrative, isn't it?
Absolutely. And what about in the South African camp, 2 months before the World Cup? What do you think the message is from Coach Botha?
Well, Coach Botha must be thinking that for him this is a stepping stone. Not as critical to win every game, but important to make those connections between players that he requires. And I think we all agree from watching the other test matches that he's going to be looking for some set piece development as well, some real improvement in his corners.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a little bit more at stake for the South African team. There's a selection hanging over their head. That is something to be aware of. And the crowd, it's a positive, but it's also a bit of pressure on Team South Africa.
It certainly is. I mean, it was interesting to see the lineups tonight. So Caleb Duval sitting out of the side tonight. Who had a fantastic a couple of test matches before this. So, you know, for the players, as you say, they're going to be working excessively hard as they can to try and prove their worth. It is a different combinations for the coach. You know, he's looking at different stages of the game going, what are my connections that my players are going to make together? But then also, what are my offensive and defensive set pieces to put the right players on the field at the right time together?
Absolutely. He needs to know who he can rely on when it counts at the World Cup, which is pretty much in every moment.
Well, that's the beautiful version of this very instant and very fast version of this game, is every moment counts. And the great Dutch coach Roland Oltmans used to say the biggest effect a coach can have is getting the right players in the right positions at the right time. It's that simple.
Is that all?
But far more complicated than that.
So, Whitey, tell us a bit about yourselves for those who don't know you. I mean, I know you well. In fact, my first experience of... oh, here we are. Lucky, Lily Lloyd just unable to retrieve the ball. Again, for me, that's an area I want to look at today and chat to you. And both teams have a tendency, and obviously defensively in indoor hockey, you want to try and funnel the ball into that left-hand side. And for me, there has to be more of an effort and intention to get it into the center and the right-hand segment of it. Like now, and she's turning in. That's Celia Serrani. But again, it's easy to defend there, relatively easy to defend that area.
Yeah, and you saw there that ball straight through the middle from the Irish absolutely broke the game for a second there. There hadn't been that technical error. It was a real goal-scoring opportunity. And South Africa just got a little wide on their press, and it came straight through the middle. But that's what moving the ball around patiently does. It stretches the opposition, creates that sudden gap that you've got to utilize swiftly.
Another tiny little mistake, and obviously in indoor, the details, the tiny errors, they are critical.
Well, it's a game of precision, isn't it? You get quick chances, you've got to react fast, and your basics have to be absolutely perfect. And it's also such a different game because at times there's no pressure at all as the opposition wait for you to come to them. It's a bit more like golf. Waiting for you to come to the ball. But at other stages, it's a full court press and there's extreme pressure.
I remember playing golf with you, and I wouldn't say that it was quite similar to this indoor game, but we can talk about that later.
Exactly.
Great crossfield ball. Serrani looking for something, but unable to find it. Good defense by Chloe Brown. The number 7 from Northern Ireland is a tenacious player.
She is absolutely, she went through a bit of disappointment the other evening when she missed a penalty stroke. I mean, it was like nothing had changed. She got on with the game. She ran straight back to her mark. She didn't want commiserations from the rest of her teammates. She got on with it, and she actually forced the next positive action in the game.
That's all you can really do. If you allow a negative action, if you want to call it that, to affect the next one and the next one, it's just going to drag on into further actions. And here we are with a great chance. It's gone near post. I'm not sure if that was the right option from Tegan Fourie, South Africa's number 14, but Emma Buckley with a solid save. She's been a solid keeper so far in the series. She
has, and she did what she had to do there. She covered the inside post. She made sure that it definitely didn't go in there. And I agree. I think Tegan should have been looking for that far post. But she got the shot away quickly. And the element of surprise is not to be underrated. Often if you get that shot away very fast, you can take advantage of the keeper thinking it's going to come a little later.
We've been speaking about that a lot, but in that particular case, the keeper was set, the angle wasn't changed, and that was a moment to take maybe an extra second to deliver quality and create bigger space by going second post, where you get a few opportunities to score rather than just one at the near post.
Yeah, I mean, it's the beauty of indoors also. If the defending players behind you, you have time then to hold the ball on your stick. You can drag it slightly further. You can even lift your head while the ball is on your stick and look at the position of the keeper and then follow through slightly later. I agree, she had a little longer.
I mean, it's we're asking a lot, but South Africa are praying for the World Cup. I mean, if you think about the great strikers like Graham King, for example, comes to mind. That's on the tip of my tongue. But it's someone who takes aiming is a thing. Aiming is a thing, and it may look like they've taken a quick shot, but they're taking a one split second to take care, and where's the weight in the keeper? What's the keeper doing? And then making that decision.
It's all the great strikers will tell you that it's instinctive, but their ability to take a mental snapshot of where the keeper is and to execute the skill into the area that they're not is just the outstanding skill of great strikers.
Lily Lloyd has a lot to offer, but very often she's losing possession, and I think that's an element of experience also, because she's got a lot to offer, and knowing when to use what, I think, is going to be important for her development.
Yeah, look, she carries the ball absolutely beautifully, came inside so successfully, but just lost control. Look, the side has moved from 2 different courts the last 2 test matches, so they were on another court yesterday, and the surface is slightly different, and perhaps it was just a little faster than she was expecting and ran across her body. But keeping control when you pull an open face, critical in indoor. You lose control of that, it can be a swift counterattack.
Absolutely. I mean, going back to strikers, and you talk about that instinct, but even, Greg Nicol, Graham King, they're 2 outstanding strikers to mention, but especially Greg Nicol, he used to say he would practice hundreds of shots from every single angle in the area, in the D, and so he was putting that mental screenshot in his body that when he received it, he wasn't thinking, where am I? He knows already where he is. And for me, it's just, it was inspiring to have a few years of playing with him and to see the training ethic that he had for goal scoring. It's just remarkable. It's not luck.
Here we go.
And Celia, that's exactly what we're talking about. Celia Evans took a moment assessed what was happening, and there was a space on the left-hand side, and she put it there.
And critically, as you mentioned, she shaped inside and went at the far post. So the keeper had probably done the right thing in holding slightly to the right-hand side of her box. And Celia found the spot on the other side. Great finish. Simple, good finish.
Number 5, Celia Evans, with a wonderful finish and showing her composure. Experience. I mean, she's a veteran of the previous World Cup, and that's why the mix of experience and youth is super critical, especially going into a World Cup. What do you think about that?
100% agreed, and you'll often find some of the younger players as well, a lot of the time shooting on the ground. I think Celia created a little lift on that, just in case someone was able to get a stick there, it would pop over the stick, and it's a key skill in indoor, is always just, even if it's an inch off the ground, get it in the air, so it's not easy to trap on the ground when it's a shot at goal.
I'm glad you said that, because so often strikers, inexperienced strikers, not as successful strikers, are looking for the perfect shot, and a quick shot with that little bubble, especially in indoor, is really difficult to deal with. And the second phase and the third phase is where you're going to score lots of goals, but also on the direct phase, like Celia Serrani. You can see my age, Whitey. Celia Evans is now Celia Serrani. You know, people do get married, not me, but you know, normal people do get married.
It's happened to the best of us, John, so I'm sure it's going to happen to you very soon. But yeah, lovely finish from Celia. You were speaking about
great skills.
Lovely skill. Fantastic from Lardant, and once again, I think an example of what we'd said. If she had held it, dragged it a little lower, shaped right and gone left under the shoulder, I think it was a closed deal. But a lovely bit of skill to create the opportunity for herself.
I mean, I want more from her, because that was brilliant. That was simply brilliant. The timing, the run, the change of pace, she has everything. A little bit of care, low to the right of the keeper, I think is goal. And I think, like, going to the World Cup, these players have to raise the level, raise the expectations, their personal standards.
And she's been very impressive in the series so far. She really covers a lot of ground. She's absolute workhorse in that middleman position, and really nice skill to go inside and out there, create the chance for herself. But as you said, that last little bit of care, it'll come. You know, they're working towards something special. There go the Irish, good chance.
Again, I mean, it's a positive outcome. It's a shot on target, but not really worrying the goalkeeper. And again, something that Tiggy and I mentioned a lot is trying to find like the most attacking angles possible. I think Lardant was a great example of that. With her speed, she could easily go around the outside, but she cut in and she's attacking the direct line to goal, and that really opens up angles.
And indoor hockey has changed over the last decade. You know, you used to be able to attack those wide angles and make something of it, certainly on the right, you know. But with the advent of the ability of the defender to step in and set, it just means you have to come out of those channels, and it slows down the attack completely. So I agree. When you're attacking and you have an early attack, you've got to fake wide and go inside. Try and get a decent angle on the shot and get the shot away as early as you can before anyone has the ability to set.
Absolutely. It's a game of chess. It's a game of angles. It's a game of patience. It's great to see, and for me it's wonderful to notice the difference between the players who have gone through various World Cup phases, to see the small technical details that they get right compared to the young players who are still learning the game.
And Maccas, I mean, so South Africa 1-0 up at the end of the first chukker, and good results and some nice dominance on the field of play. You know, the game has changed so fundamentally. It's now a game of speed. It's a game of tactics. As you said, it's a game of chess. I mean, I think back to the great Springboks of the day. You think about a Piet van Blerk and a Greg Knott. They were all about power. They used to drive straight through you. Richard Newton's another one that came to mind.
Oh my God, I'm just having flashbacks of playing against Greg Knott. It was like, please don't go through my left hand.
Absolutely terrifying. Yes. I mean, there's no such thing as set. If you set, you got a ball into the midriff or a stick across the knees as he drove through.
You get a green card,
goal.
yellow card.
Yeah.
True.
And you know, the great indoor players were the players that were able to advance with the ball no matter what was in front of them. Now they have to turn out and find
Interesting
another
from
option.
Madikwe passing to the Irish team. Anyway, that was maybe sportsmanship, I'm not sure. Or it looks like it could have been a ploy, because South Africa found their way into the circle and they got a short corner.
They got the corner out of it. That certainly was an element of surprise. It surprised the two of us.
Absolutely.
And it takes a lot to surprise the two of us.
It's true. More off the field than on the field, but yes, I'm in agreement. So South Africa One of the aspects that we've also been asking more of South Africa is in their dominant phases to use it to take the scoreboard away. And I feel like in the previous test matches they've had some dominant phases and they've gone 1 or 2 goals up maximum, and Ireland have just always stayed in it. So let's see what South Africa can do here. Modikwe on the ball. And great save by Buckley. Looked like on the sole of the foot from Danny D'Oliveira. Danny D'Oliveira took the shot, and a great save by Buckley. Relatively, standard.
But taking into account Buckley didn't advance, it was the right decision to take the straight shot. And I think it's a good corner decision. If the keeper's coming out fast, you look to dummy the shot and go out to the slap. But I think that was a good decision. Oh, it's a great chance for Ireland.
I mean, to me, it's like the moment South Africa go in the lead, it's when Ireland wake up, and it's when South Africa kind of just sit back a bit, and it's the time to step forward, it's the time to high press, it's the time to take initiative, take advantage. Well worked goal by Ireland. Let's take a look again, Whitey.
Yeah, I see Chardonnay Peniston was looking for the inside lead of Modikwe. She held outside. The ball was sacrificed, and really lovely execution.
And that was a Patton-sister combination. Assist by Patton number 1 and goal by Patton number 2. I think the Patton family in Ireland will be delighted with that.
Absolutely delighted with sisterly love.
They've obviously been feeding them some good potatoes.
Oh, fantastic steal.
Oh.
And Modikwe brings such gravitas to this indoor side. She really is one of the mainstays of the South African women's outdoor team, spending a lot of time at centre mid and at outside mid in the South Africa side. In fact, the outdoor side missed her a lot in their recent Nations Cup
in Valencia. Absolutely.
She was a big miss for the side, but lovely to see her prioritising this indoor World Cup and looking to represent her country in South Africa's first Hockey World Cup on home soil.
Well done to unlucky Chardonnay Peniston. A good intercept and good positional play, but just the pass eluding her. The angle's not quite right just yet.
Peniston looking for that shallow lead of her middleman and be disappointed twice by the middleman holding into wide positions.
Do we call her a middleman?
It's a testing question.
Back to Modikwe, I also feel like she offers a lot of gravitas off the field, just part of the team. She's got a spark, she's got an intelligence, she's got like a fighting spirit that I so love to witness, to watch, to observe from afar.
I felt for some time that she's been South Africa's primary hockey player in the middle of the field. And, you get someone with that sort of intelligence and that sort of experience into the middle of the field, you give her the maximum number of options, and you allow her to use her greatest attribute, which is her decision making. And she can bring that to the indoor court. She'll be a massive asset to Lenny Botha's 5th World Cup.
Absolutely. I mean, I think, talking about outdoor, indoor, the attention to detail that is required for indoor is like critical, and you can it really helps your outdoor development.
Great break from Serrano, beautiful balloon.
Tegan Fourie to Jamie Southgate. South Africa just steadying the ship a bit. Good defending, lovely body position by Ireland.
Very well picked up.
I think that's number 5, Michaela Power, who's scored one of those goals you were talking about, one of those quick shots that the goalkeeper wasn't ready for. South Africa not giving an option out, so Chloe Brown, there she is, one of your favourites.
And started to notice in indoor, one of the huge ways to play the game now is a self-start from broken play. It really is the key way to create an overlap in indoor now. With the set rule and the inability to drive through a channel, the space that a self-start allows is just game-changing. And you'll see the really impactful sides take those pushes really early and carry it with absolute speed and very directly, John, which is a point you made earlier.
Big time. I'm a big fan. I mean, for me, you should be looking every single time, the moment the whistle blows, for the self-start in that split second. And then very often, if it's not on, to then slow down, to breathe, and to settle, and to set up, and to get the angles. But I want to see that urgency.
It's the fundamental improvement and change in the game over the last, call it 2 decades, the self-start. It has made hockey the great game that it is now. You apply another great sport that we've all been watching over the last month, and you think how the self-start could improve football and how it would stop diving as people stayed on their feet and took free kicks to themselves and carried the ball at defenders. It really has made such a massive difference in the game of hockey. And interestingly enough, and I'm a huge fan of hockey coaches, and it was Moritz Hendricks, the Spanish coach, who came up with the notion of the self-start and presented it to world hockey as a concept.
Penalty corner, I think that just took a bubble off the South African defender's stick. That's what I could see. Anyway, Ireland won't be asking questions this time. They with a chance to go into the lead. And in the context of the series, it's interesting.
And the Irish have set pieces have looked slick. They've looked good, slick, well rehearsed, taking the corner from what we've traditionally referred to as the wrong side, which negates the use of a set stopper and gives you a second or third slap option. And it's in. What a great finish.
Orla Macken, the captain. Oh, no, I'm wrong. It's Orla Fox. There's 3 Orlas in the team. Anyway, I agree. Simple, effective, no real margin for, errors don't happen that commonly from that side. So for me, it's an intelligent way. The Irish team haven't had long to train. Look at this, simplicity.
I think the keeper caught a no man's land as well there, John. So she started to advance towards player number 1, the first option, and went to the second option. She slowed down and got caught just a little bit stationary on the corner defense. Just resulted in that time for the finish.
Absolutely. I think she was I always like to say we talk about the quick shot. When the keeper is in motion, it's like prime time. When a defender is in motion, it's the time to execute the skill. And I felt there the keeper got to about halfway and was kind of just neither here nor there.
And the striker was all over her, so to speak. One of the 3 Orlas.
All over her. I like it. I don't know if it's appropriate, but I got sent the team list of the Irish team, prior to the series, obviously by Mr. Simon Martin, who's like the Louis Late of indoor hockey. But we'll go back to the action. I love that finish!
Lovely finish.
Number 14 for Ree. I am so happy to see her finish like that. The stick didn't move away from her stick. She stayed on it. She knew where she was in the circle. Simplicity. That is international hockey. That is top quality Tegan Fourie, number 14. And a bit of intelligent play by Robin Johnson to match.
Yeah, a lovely finish from Tegan Fourie. That was that little bit of composure that you were asking for earlier in the session. And she finished it so beautifully.
And the change of angle. I've really enjoyed that. Really, really enjoyed that.
Really nice reverse finish. Keeper moving the one way with her and her body, and she moved it back behind the keeper. Lovely finish.
We've got a great game on our hands here, Whitey. Great pickup by Lily Lloyd. Lily Lloyd with the first touch.
And it's in.
I mean, as a coach, I'm just delighted to see that. She's made the goal a whole stick length bigger. And that's just top class, basic, simple, executed to perfection. Amy Benson, well done. This is a great game. It's now 3-2 to the Irish.
The Irish have taken the lead. I think we've seen 2 goals have been, and we'll have a look at the replay now. It's a lovely finish, as you said. Yeah, the goal's 2 meters wider.
Look at the receiving arc by Lloyd. That was a great example of her doing the simple option, using her speed, using her great first touch, and scoring a goal, assisting a goal for her team.
I think Coach Botha will be a little concerned that from that right back position we're sacrificing a little bit of ball into the midfield. I think you probably find the team has been discussing some alternative options out of the back, and they're throwing that ball in a little bit blindly, and perhaps the players aren't used to making that lead because it's now 2 goals that have occurred because of South Africa possession that's been sacrificed quite easily.
I think if I were Ross Willis, I'd be pretty happy so far with the first half's action.
Yeah, the South African Ross Willis doing a lovely job working with the Irish team, and he'll be very happy with how they've taken their opportunities when they've come.
He's only been in Dublin for a few months, but I can hear a slight Irish twang in his accent. I mean, do you think that's just part of the prerequisites for the job?
I think it might be. If you're going to be involved in a World Cup, you've got to show a little bit of accent at least.
Well, the Irish team actually, Whitey, are not going to the World Cup just yet. They're on an interesting journey of indoor hockey. I think due to PSI was the first kind of hockey action for most of these girls in Ireland, and now the Irish hockey indoor team is definitely on the up. But they're going to have to wait for their first World Cup appearance. But for sure, this series is giving them. Look at that, Chloe Brown, as you said, she hasn't. She's just off. She's gone.
Yeah,
this time the umpire pulls her back, though.
A very, very, very direct player. I mean, if you look at the current caps of the Irish, the South African team starting 6 in this match at 337 international indoor caps. The Irish had about 50 or 60. So it's a massive gulf in experience. In saying that, the Irish team is showing that experience isn't everything that's required. There's real class in this lineup.
Yeah, and I think also dedication to the game plan. Dedication, I think Ross Willis has done his homework, and they've looked at what they have and what they don't have right now, and they're playing according to that. And I think I have a lot of respect for that. At the moment, 3-2 up. For me, it's a bit of a surprise. For me, today was about South Africa turning the screw. They won yesterday, and it was a time to say, okay, you've hung in there with us, but now it's a time for us to show our class, to show our pedigree, and for us to show that we are preparing for a World Cup, and we're just that much better than you. But we're still only halfway through, so there's still time.
I think probably some urgent words from Coach Botha at the halftime break to talk to the team about more structured play, around making sure when they come out of the back and ensuring that there are not as many errors, unforced errors. I mean, 2 of those goals, while they were excellent finishes from the Irish, we would define them from a South African point of view as soft concessions.
Absolutely, and as you mentioned before, the angle, especially of the pass on the right board, I think we got the angle slightly wrong and weren't finding our player, our destination.
You see Coach Willis working with his team there, and you can see on his board he's got those beacons in the red and blue of Milnerton, so old habits die hard.
Absolutely. No, I mean, Ross Willis he's also part of the video team for the Irish outdoor team. He's a dedicated coach. He's someone that's he's putting in the effort. He's putting in the time to really develop himself as a coach. Lenny Botha, 5th World Cup he's going into. 5th World Cup. That's a lot of World Cups.
That's astonishing, and you can see he's always been a calm man under pressure, but he'll be tested right now. He's talking to the team very urgently about the changes that need to be made.
Which Lenny Botha do you know? Lenny Botha reminds me of, his record for KZN against Western Province. It was such a long time ago that, to be honest, I can't remember.
Look, he had a strong record coaching that side. His daughter Cindy was an excellent player as well, and numerous caps for South Africa, residing overseas at the moment, isn't she?
Yeah, she's residing in Australia, and to tell you the truth, the South African team miss her directness, her impetus. She would break lines, and her understanding of angles on the indoor court was definitely something that was a great benefit to the team. But for sure, a lot of the players who have played with her for many years would have benefited from her career. And well, now it's their turn. Now it's their turn to step up and to take the mantle. They can't look around for Cindy anymore. They've got to do it themselves.
Yeah, and I think they're looking for that instinctive player that can run those direct lines and control the ball while going into the circle. I mean, I think Cindy was a very strong player. Also a fantastic outdoor player who didn't get the recognition at outdoor hockey that she deserved. Around 2004, I was involved in some of the high performance preparation for the Olympics. And I thought she was an excellent bet. She didn't go to the Olympics, but I thought she was a real athlete that was missed in that lineup.
Absolutely. I mean, in terms of raw materials, she had them all. An athlete.
And I think if you look at some of the international and European countries and the athleticism of some of those players, it's a real starting point for selection, isn't it?
Absolutely. So Ireland underway, but relinquishing the ball pretty quickly. Ross Willis will not be happy with that. South Africa straight into it. Fourie, what can she do from this angle? That's exactly what we spoke about before we went on air. That's driving into a flat stick, and it's a green card. I think it's the right decision.
Agreed. I mean, the player had set. This is the fundamental change in the game, and it just means that you've got to back out of that area rather strategically to try and find another outlet and be far more patient in creating your attack. Now, a massive advantage to Ireland, a one-man advantage or one-lady advantage in this case.
Thanks, Nicholas.
In indoor is huge.
We're not in the 90s, Nicholas. I want to see a change in attitude, in intensity, in positional play to make it. And the value on the ball, obviously, in indoor is critical to make sure that you don't give easy ball away. But 100% more when you're a one player up. 100% more. Because also it's not about even if you make a positive action, you score or you get a penalty corner, you're also going to take a lot of freshness, of energy out of the 4 or 5 that are on the court.
You see South Africa immediately change their press and go into a full court press, so as opposed to standing back and waiting for the Irish to come to them, South Africa are advancing. Another option is also when the opposition lose a player to a card, is to take your goalkeeper off and to go to 6 out players versus the 4 out players of the opposition. There's very little chance of them then advancing into the high area of the court and threatening your goal, but you really can pressurize them with those 2 extra out players.
For me, it's like sending a direct message to the opposition that we are coming, and just get back, and you have to hold on. And
there we go.
Lardant! Great save. I mean, unorthodox, but effective. Somehow Patton makes her way through. Sarah Patton going wide. Finds Michaela Power. Michaela Power! Again, is that another green? I think it is.
Another set.
It's just this time a yellow. So that's 2 minutes. So for me, let's see what Coach Botha does. But it was a yellow. So I mean, for now, it's an opportunity to take the goalkeeper off and siege.
You'll notice the South African men's side and the test match later this evening, they are using that as an absolute strategy. For South Africa now to sacrifice the ball and give it back to the Irish, you really do want to hold it. You see the urgency of the press now, super high.
Ireland winding down the clock because South Africa didn't take care of the ball when they have a player up for 2 minutes. Come on. For me, Whitey, watching the World Cup football, but especially in this indoor court with the fastness of it, momentum is unbelievably important. And when you have momentum, you have to use it. A little bit like yesterday, Argentina had momentum for 3/4 of the match. And because they used it, of course, 2 goals against France is wonderful. But for me, they didn't freaking turn the screw. And France regained the momentum. And, I mean, in the end, Argentina won and, Messi and legacy, and I mean it's written in the stars, but momentum is really important, and I want to see South Africa taking the bull by the horns here in this 2 minutes.
100%, and what a chance, it's in.
Maybe they heard me. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Who's the goal scorer, Whitey? Celia Serrane.
Some lovely play down the right, and look, I think there was a poor tackle on the player. We'll have a look at the replay in a moment. Beautiful pass and a lovely finish. You see the value of experience of Celia lifting the ball slightly, making sure that the keeper's diving stick was evaded.
Important detail. Wonderful by Celia Serrane. Really happy for goal number 2 for the
fantastic and
the evergreen Celia Serrane.
And leveling things up in this tight test match.
I'm really enjoying it, I must say. Both teams are not holding back. There's goals in both ends. I'd like to see a little bit more attention to detail in quality in the final moments, and also patience. I mean, we've seen now both teams who had the player up just being a little bit careless with the final ball. It's the time to be even more patient.
Yeah, you can see South Africa now starting to take control. Captain Jess O'Connor really marshalling things from the back and moving the ball swiftly, so lifting the ball speed as much as she can. Look at them tilting the ball as they move it around the back, just changing the angles all the time to try and create some better angles.
I think number 9, Ola Fox, she actually is on the field. Oh, here we go, Madikwe.
Yeah.
Lovely,
play.
lovely,
Beautifully
lovely!
played.
Another hat-trick! Great save, great save. I mean, you've got to give credit to the South African team for that. Really well-worked move.
Beautiful move. And Celia finding herself in the key position at the moment. 3 times now on the P spot. Selected the right type of finish. She did it again, and a really excellent save from the keeper on this occasion.
A combination of simple, well-executed actions. 1 or 2 touches. Brilliant.
And direct, you know, engaged the Irish defence, made them make a decision. And when they made a mistake, they moved the ball swiftly and to one another, simply as you said.
They cut through the defense. Quick shot, quick free.
Just a slight lift on that pass.
Celia Sirani is like the most dangerous player on the field for South Africa at the moment.
She certainly is. Quite like what Coach Burt has done. He's got her into that key area where she's making those decisions. I mean, we were being relatively critical earlier around some of the shooting decisions that have been made, and he's really put his most experienced player into that high position, making those key shooting decisions.
Dani D'Oliveira, number 6, young player, but full of grit, full of composure. For me, she offers a lot of impetus going forward for her team.
An astonishing work rate. I've watched her throughout the test series, and she just does not stop. So when the South Africa team looks a little weary, she is still running at full tilt.
For me, Dani D'Oliveira, with 1 or 2 World Cups under her belt, is going to be one hell of a player. Three minutes to go in the third quarter, 3-3. Whitey, I mean, I'll put you on the spot here. Prediction?
I think South Africa, Coach Burt has had his way. He's got them looking a lot more urgent, making a lot less errors out of the back, showing more urgency on attack, and getting key people into the right positions.
Jess O'Connor looking to work the, somehow finding a way through. Lakin Brissett has some hands. She has wonderful hands. It's great to see it. I'm also looking forward to see her trajectory, because in terms of raw materials, she has a lot.
Yeah, and she's relatively new. She's looking very comfortable in the side, straight in the starting lineup. Only player in the starting lineup with under 40 caps. So really a lot of belief in a young player who's only been capped 7 times. But as you can see,
Great turn, D'Oliveira. Nice.
the great hands are worth so much in this game.
I like that. I like that. There was an overload of green Irish shirts in the left-hand side, and we looked to then slingshot the ball to the right. It didn't quite work out, but the intention was very good.
Yeah, I think it was Jessica Lardonte that was looking to deflect that ball straight down the line. It made a lot of sense to keep the speed of the attack.
It's D'Oliveira again.
Well won by South Africa.
Very much, for me, reminiscent of Craig Fulton in a way, because also Craig Fulton was another one that would get tackled and then would win it again on the second phase. I mean, Greg Knott, an indoor, similar type of thing. But look at this. Oh, well played, South Africa. Number 17 again, Lakin Brissett involved. Well done. But D'Oliveira having a big impact in the last couple of minutes.
Huge impact. That work she does in the middle is really reaping benefits. I think Brissett was looking to pass a little too readily then. Should have steadied herself and had a shot at goal. One of the challenges in indoor now is to craft a decent shot at goal is becoming increasingly difficult. So to play it down into those bottom corners limits you somewhat. It slows down the attack. Brissett had received it there, tried to make a pass inside. I think she steadied herself, looked at a wrap shot. She could have got a shot away from a decent angle. There's a lot to be said for that in the current game of indoor.
Absolutely, Whitey. I mean, that last intercept and attack from South Africa, they had space. They could have done a lot more damage there.
They could have. Felt like that was close to a set and a potential card. But Lardent.
Great steal by Lakin Brissett. Nice defending from the South African team. That's 3-3. Wow, I'm a bit out of breath.
A much more structured chucker from South Africa there, Maccas. You can see, as we were saying earlier, Coach Botha obviously laid down the law with regards to some of the loose ball sacrificing errors that they had made. And the South African circle penetrations now are at a massive 29 versus the Irish 13. And that's got to translate to the scorecard sooner or later.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a theme this whole week. We've spoken about circle penetrations, and if the game were decided on circle penetration, South Africa would be winning by a distance. But for sure, Coach Botha is looking at what kind of circle entries and having the patience to wait for the time to strike, to look for checkmate opportunities, not to try force it.
Yeah, and goalkeeper Buckley for the Irish done a fantastic job. I think 8 shots on target, and she's saved 5 of them. As we noted in the first half, quite a few of them were at the near post, and she handled them with some ease.
All right, 1 quarter to go. 3-3. Ireland need a win to force the last game into a elimination, into a decider.
Well, the South Africans now, this is just such a wonderful test for an upcoming World Cup, because this is a series decider chucker, isn't it? And they're going to have many of those type of moments in the World Cup coming up.
Absolutely. I mean, South Africa need to be ruthless and take this series away from Ireland. Ireland have had a bright start to this fourth quarter. Nice patient build-up. A little bit of a loose pass from Patton. Great pass.
Beautifully executed.
That was Kieran Fourie. Nice intercept, good pass to Brissett, and just unable to execute when it counted. But good build-up, South Africa.
Back as you'll notice, Chloe Brown central to everything good that Ireland's doing. She really is a player that.
Are you related?
I'm a fan. I was, the great football coach Pep Guardiola, when asked who his favourite player was, said Phil Foden was one of his favourites. And when he was asked why, he said he recovers from his mistakes faster than anyone else. It's a true test of a proper professional. And we saw Chloe Brown the other evening miss that penalty stroke and recover immediately and get on with the game.
I mean, I think it's an important element. Transitions, turnovers. Games get really messy when it's like double turnovers, and being able to respond intelligently and kind of like put your emotions aside. No one likes to lose a ball. No one likes to get a decision against. But if you can be back in action before you know it, it's a sign of a class player.
It's one of the key lessons for all of these young PSI players watching in the crowd tonight, that every single player out there makes mistakes, and the value of the player is the one that can respond the fastest by forgetting about it.
No, Whitey, I completely agree, and I don't want to be outspoken, or maybe I do. But for me, I've had most experience in my life as a guy, and I've had my whole experience in life as a guy, but in guys hockey. And I've just started coaching the FC Barcelona ladies team. And for me, this element, the element of response to mistakes, is the biggest thing that my team has to work on. And I don't know if it's that applies to women's hockey, women's sport, but for me, it's a really big element. And to see a player like Chloe Brown just getting on with business, Dani de Oliveira has the same attributes. It's critical to become an elite performer.
Absolutely key, and we'll see some play under pressure now as the Irish concede a yellow card. South Africa immediately full court press and actually allow the Irish some space on attack. I think it's that ability to respond to a mistake is something that is very prevalent in non-professional sport. I think in professional sport, you're taught early that you treat things as a pro. For non-professionals, it's a real learning that you have to go through. And I sometimes think the players that can forget quickly are either the most blessed or the least intelligent, one of the two.
Either way, it's a gift.
Either way, it is a gift.
So for me, Whitey, with 6 minutes to go in the state of play in the series, for me, I'm taking the goalkeeper off, and I'm saying to Ireland, we're not content. We want to hammer you.
Absolutely. I mean, this is the opportunity to do it. play on the Sinbin, and you can see the South Africa press is very aggressive, but perhaps just lacking the ability to try and win the ball in the high areas of the field with that extra out player.
But not only the extra player, it's also the message that it sends. It's a message saying that we don't fear you. We are going to defend well. You're not going to get an opportunity, and we're going to score. Like, we are not content drawing 3-all. For me, it's like there's a bit of conservatism. I don't know.
Yeah,
what do you think?
Exactly, an attitude of dominance, an attitude of defiance, an attitude of aggression. I think it works, particularly when you're in the position you're in.
Oh, unlucky, Robin Johnson.
Very unlucky. I thought she put in a good attempt to control it, but well contested ball into South Africa. Look, striving for that better angle on the shot, aren't they? They're trying to get the ball into the P spot to make sure that when the shot comes, it's got some options to go either side. What a
Southgate
great
to
run.
Lodron finds it. I think it was Tegan Fourie on the second post. Well done, Buckley. Well done, Team Ireland.
Irish ladies winding down the clock of the card. Very, very intelligently played.
Well, to be honest, I mean, Ireland need a win in order to force the series. Well, actually, if they get a draw, they then have a chance to level the series tomorrow. So I guess a loss is just, it's finished. It's a dead rubber. So interesting to see how Ireland do. Do you think they're going to go all guns blazing when they get back to their full allocation of players? I think, it would be one hell of a scalp for Ireland to beat South Africa here tonight.
Astonishing. And I think the Irish, by sheer nature, are going to go for it. They've got very little to lose. The South Africans look a little tentative at the moment, and they should be more aggressive. I agree with your original analysis of the situation. Time to close the door on the Irish.
Wiley, I just have to say it's an honor to be here with you. You're a guy that had a big impact on my hockey career, not so much, but more my just philosophy and outlook on life. And it's a real honor to be here. A full circle. Our sport has given us an amazing platform of experiences, of memories, of players. I just want to say I'm just grateful to be a hockey player.
John, I couldn't agree more, Maccas, and so lovely to reconnect. And do it amongst this quality is fantastic. And you look out into the stands, as I was saying, there are probably 300 young PSI kids, all about to go through that journey that you and I did when we met on a hockey field many years ago. And isn't it wonderful? It's the game where you're never short of friends. And that's the brilliant thing about this game we play.
And on top of it, I mean, these kids here that form the majority of the spectators. Out of the South African team, I think over 90% of the team came through the ranks of PSI. So literally there's a direct route here, and it's not outrageous. I mean, I can remember the Kassim brothers in PSI dominating, and to see they're dominating world hockey at the moment. They're shaking it up. They are people know their names all over the world.
They are
great
really
tackle.
special.
D'Oliveira again. I mean, I think that D'Oliveira is my favorite, and Brown's your favorite for the Irish team.
Yeah, I think D'Oliveira has been brilliant. Celia Serrano has shown her value of experience, but D'Oliveira's work rate is just something else. She is the absolute engine of the side.
The South African team have to provide an outlet for the Irish team, and in that case, they won the ball. Won the ball back very well. 2 minutes to play, nothing in it.
Nothing in it. Jessica Lardon's had a couple of very special moments so far in this series, and I'm imagining.
Here's another one.
Yeah, I'm imagining that she's got something special for us. She really is a player that has the ability to affect the game very positively. And I've just been waiting for that breakout moment so far in this series. Kind of hoping it comes in the last 2 minutes here.
Absolutely. I mean, it's the time for top class players to step up, to take the initiative. And we spoke about the shoes of Cindy Botha. I think Jess Lardant is someone. It's her time now to do that.
Yeah, she's got a unique way of playing the game. So suited to her, and she's actually got a powerhouse of a flick when she gets hold of it. We're just waiting for an opportunity.
Buckley, really well done. Tegan Free taking speculative shot, but she's also got a powerful drag flick. But in the end, Buckley up to it.
I love that Tegan Free took that shot. I think that's what you see from the Kasim brothers. They are audacious in their efforts. They take bad angle shots because they have the belief that they're going to score them. And in indoor, often it's that element of surprise. It's the ability to get away a clean shot, which is not that readily available in the current game, that is so critical. And I like that Tegan Free took that shot. I think it displayed some of that directness and some of that aggressive attitude that you've been looking for all game from South Africa.
I'm really interested to see what happens in this last 40 seconds, and I want to see patience.
They've got it.
In the moment I'm asking for patience, there goes Danny D'Oliveira shunting the ball down the middle. But let's see it. You still have more time than you think. Wait for the right moment, South Africa, and make it count.
Get the
Lovely.
sense it's going to be one corner. Here we go.
Celia Serrani, unlucky. Will Ireland have the last laugh? Ola Fox! South Africa managed to defend. A final flurry from the Irish team, who have not given up. But in the end, 3-3, probably a fair result. What do you think, Whitey?
I agree, John. I mean, I think South Africa had more to offer. They dominated possession, they dominated the chances, they dominated the circle entries. But goalkeeper Buckley did a fantastic job in keeping them out. And I think just a little bit of that aggression was missing in the final quarter. In saying that, Celia Serrane's finishing must have been an eye-opener for Coach Botha. Really getting into those key positions made a massive difference.
I'm just delighted because I was kind of in more or less the same era as Celia Serrani, so I'm not feeling as old and negative about myself anymore. But yeah, it was wonderful to see her. Wonderful girl, wonderful ambassador of the game, and still operating at a really high level, and certainly an important player for Team South Africa.
Looking at the stats now, Coach Botha would look at those circle penetrations of 39 to 16 and just feel very, very uncomfortable with the number of penetrations, a number, I suppose, of shots on target. 10 to 4 to South Africa over Ireland.